Let me take the right. So if you take right, I think the recording started, right? Okay, cool. Right. So now we are discussing the Python, the pandas in Python, like one of the great library, right? So try to understand. We are going to understand few major things in the pandas because there are so many things are there, but I'm not going to explain each and everything. Otherwise, the course is going to be just pandas for Python, right? So now, before getting to the data frame and series, so try to understand what exactly this is. See, I think you able to understand what exactly this one, right? So this one is a we used to call what is that? Either it could be a fields, right? Or else it could be the columns, right? And it could be attributes, or it could be futures, right? So there are so many terminology across the in IT industry and the software, right? So basically, the each and everything until we are coming to the data science, if you show some the specific the row and column with the data, then people directly say this is nothing but the table, right? Is a table, and these are the obviously rows. Okay, right. So if you go with any other database like a SQL or Oracle, any other any other the database, this is going to be uh, fields or columns, anything like that. But in pandas, so how they are segregating the each and every column and with the set of data, this is nothing but serious. Okay, remember that, because actually if you want to take it out of any kind of like if you're going to extract the specific the row, sorry, the column and data, then we are call it as what? Nothing but it's nothing but series, right? And the collection of series is going to be a data frame, right? But mostly 99 percentage don't bother about this series, because the big data team, they will give the data in the form of any file format. It could be the CSV, okay, or else it could be um, uh, XML files, okay. It could be XML files, or it could be um, okay. So it could be XML files, or it could be JSON files, okay. So this could be JSON files, and so many format they will provide. Who will provide? The big data team. Like actually, right? So we have that this the team required for the data science. So the database administrator, big data architect, so many people are there, because actually we used to get the structured, unstructured, semi-structured data. So the big data team will do all the data massaging and extracting. You apply that all their other tools, big data tools. Then they'll make the fine-tuned data will be feed into your space. So your job, you need to be take that data, but it's a data. It's not a dirty data, but it's like I would say it's a semi-dirty data. Okay, because it's a play. We will be able to play with that. But the data which is received by the big data, it's big data team is totally different. Okay, so there are the few things is a very key here, and nowadays there is a lot of opportunities, and that one is a big data. Okay, so big data. So big data, they used to talk about the most of the structured, unstructured, and semi-structured data, and there are so many big data tools are there. So based on the tool, they will do all the kind of like data finding, data tuning, and that, and will they feed into common area called some portfolio, that is going to be a data science and data engineers, and machine learning engineers will pick up those file and start to play with that. Okay, so I don't know you guys like remember like the data science enterprises architecture. There is a one of the column. Okay, so one of the column going to be a big data domain. So the big data will take care of all these aspects. So they will give you all the data, right? Just apart from this session, just I want to bring out the few other areas. Azure, that's very important. Okay, really I'm not able to write this one because we used to have a pen kind of stuff. I don't see the pen over here. Okay, this is better. Azure, big data, and data science. Okay, and ML engineers. Then IoT plus data. Right. So these are the oh my gosh. So these are the core area going to play a bigger role in upcoming days because actually most of the organization they are moving towards the Azure. And honestly, like again we are playing with the multiple data and a huge amount of data. So if you want to access some set of the huge data means like we cannot use our normal SQL server or Oracle storage devices. So that so like what is that, so it's going to be like completely the compressed data format and they're playing around with the data, big data is there. And the data science, there's a lot of opportunities, and the ML engineering as well. And top of that, IoT, right? And IoT combination with the data science going to be a big picture in upcoming days. Okay, so even there are the lots of projects going to be in future. Most of the things going to be in this domain. Not Azure actually, it could be AWS as well. Okay, so because actually I'm working in um, we are working with Azure, but that is a AWS. Okay, so these are the combination is going to be dominating the now and then. Okay, these are the things that's very important apart from this session. Just time I want to highlight that. So if you want to guys are familiar with you want to get opportunities, please bring all this, not all, at least this terminology, at least two out of five, right? So if you have it in your profile, then that will be easy for the recruitment team than any other organization. If they want, they're going to pick up any new guys, so people will consider on this instead of. I'm not blaming the Java. Okay, if you have a Java, C, C++, and .NET, right? So this is really now the opportunity is focusing towards this one. The opportunity is more here because actually writing the code using the Java, C, C++, and .NET, any other programming language, that is different. But again, now we have a Python also playing a very bigger role in uh, um, website development. Okay, so because it has a vast knowledge, vast libraries, and the people can use directly simple instead of if you are going to write the programming in 10 lines or 20 lines in .NET. So the Python now is going to be a very powerful package, so that the people are using Python for web application, web development as well. Okay, and nowadays actually the development is going to be happen by using that of self driven tools, so that it's a kind of content management tool or so many things are there, so that like people are not going towards the Java and .NET. On top of that, they are using like the other languages like um, JNode. There are so many things are there. So quickly they develop the application, they're deploying into the production. Not like earlier 20 or 15 or 10 years back, We used to write so many number of lines coding by using a .NET and Java, but now it's become completely like plug and play. Okay, just take the data, take that component, put it into that, then just it will create some easy the application form. Then put that it's the development is very fast. Okay, yeah, I forgot to do one thing in DevOps. Okay, so nowadays uh, Azure and DevOps, and I would say I'm going, okay. My choice, I'm going with either data science or ML. So one, two, three. So if I have these things in my profile, yes, sure. So definitely people will start calling me for the interview. They will have a discussion with me. So based on my knowledge, definitely I'll get the opportunity. That is not me, means not only for myself, just I'm telling for generic statements. For if you guys are like even coming out of college, then you have a vast knowledge about, because actually I don't know how many of you doing Azure. How many of you know the Azure stuff? Sorry, I'm just in deviating, but really I want you guys to just not go through the topic. I want to bring few things in your plate. That's the reason I'm bringing this topic now. So how many of you are aware of like the cloud computing? Anybody else? Anybody want to say anything? Cloud computing, because actually all this data science project definitely not going to be on premises. This is not going to be on premises. This is going to be, yeah, Barun Kumar. I think he's unmuted himself. Yeah, come on, tell me. So you have any knowledge about cloud computing? It's gone. Okay. Anybody else? Or usual folks? Upal, Kritika, and then Sriram. Anybody? Please. You guys are aware of anything about cloud computing? Why I'm telling, actually, see, not only running the show, because for training perspective, like we are going to install Python, um, Anaconda on system, then we have started doing all these practices, and that's different. But in real time scenario, the data going to be in cloud. It could be either Azure or it could be AWS. There was other blah blahs are there, but the domination, yeah, Google Analytics are there, but mostly it's going to be either Azure or AWS. Anybody wants to say anything about knowledge about the cloud computing? Anybody want to say anything? Upal, no other go, man.
No, sir, I don't know about that.
Okay, cool. Yes,
Uh,
Harini.
so,
Yeah, Harini.
Sir, actually, I don't have that much knowledge on cloud computing, but
Hmm.
as far I know, uh, users can access files and application from any device that can access the internet. Example, Google's Gmail.
Hmm.
So,
Yeah,
such things can be done with the cloud
cool.
computing.
Cool. Very good. Yeah, that's a pretty space. Actually, this is nothing but actually you are using a Gmail from. Sorry, I'm absolutely sorry. I'm just totally I'm deviated from. I'm deviating from the topic, but this is really required, you guys. That's it. Even I'm giving a heads up on this. Probably like when you are dealing with um, uh, data science, you must know the awareness of like how the cloud computing is working, because in real time scenario we used to load everything on in cloud space, and we have started extracting the data, playing around the data. So mostly like since I'm working with the .NET, and my luckily my customer is they are working in Azure, so I can connect the dots. Yes, I mean my Microsoft resource already I've used VB, ASP, .NET. Now I'm using Azure. So in the track I'm doing that. The same way we have AWS. That is, AWS, right? How many of you know what is AWS at least? How many of you heard the word AWS? How many of you know that
Amazon Web Services.
sorry, man?
Amazon Web Services, sir.
Yes, Amazon Web Services, good. So, actually, so I'll try to make some other session, yeah, after this. Probably I'll check with your ma'am. So probably we can have like a just one day session with like what exactly the cloud system. I'm not sure how many of you heard about that, because you guys definitely you should have that knowledge about cloud computing and what are the cloud services are provider, at least you have a basic knowledge about Azure. It's really good, either Azure or AWS. Okay, that's very important because most of the customers they're moving into the cloud because they don't want to manage their infrastructure. So it's not like strict to only go with like development activity. So you can maybe like Azure administrator or AWS administrator, or it could be Azure architect, or it could be AWS architect. It could be Azure data engineers, or it could be AWS associate or high-level data engineers, or else you can be a Google analytics engineer, something like that. So there are the potential of the opportunities wider, not only the what we're discussing now, the data science. Okay, there are so many things are there, and same way for big data. Big data, it's all a few small components. So just you go through, you can learn that component. If you have that knowledge in your mind, then you can go ahead on that. The same way for data science, what we are discussing now. And the DevOps culture, it's recently, it's like if you go with anything, but DevOps comes along with you. Believe me on that. Okay. So DevOps is like nothing but it's a culture like development and operations. So um, the development operations team, they have to do like the issue called continuous integration and continuous deployment, CI/CD, right? So in the perspective, we need a DevOps knowledge. So this and all the high demand portfolios in our IT industry recently, the recent trend, and is going forward. Definitely, I can say like in another 10 years minimum, it's going to be another next 10 years going to be like the industry, these things going to be dominate industry. Okay, so might be a 5 years down the line, might be something else will come, but sure, the cloud and big data and they say this is going to be same kind of flavors only. Okay, so it's not going to be a big deviation because Java and .NET, it's dominated almost 20 years in the industry. So people got lots of project. They developed a project in .NET, Java, and so many stuff. But now the transition's gone to the Azure. Even the Azure came back like almost 2010 when we started looking at that. The Azure, the cloud computing is a very minimal. Okay, so 2020 2010, actually 2010, when I started reading that the cloud computing, I brought some books and tried to understand what exactly the cloud computing, but it's a completely vague and it looks like me for theory subject. But now the Azure and the AWS components is a very few components. Try to explore in that space so that you can get good opportunities. Not so, don't focus on just like what is that, you're supposed to view the holistic view. Okay, so try to understand what exactly Azure, AWS. Go with either AWS or Azure. Don't stick with only the AWS. Don't, sorry, don't like put both things. Like better go with Azure, explore that better way. And the same way for DevOps. So try to understand what is DevOps, how they're working. That internally they have so many configuration tools and all, but you should know what exactly DevOps culture. That's very important. Okay. Sorry for the deviation. We'll back to our things. Okay. So hope it will be useful for you guys. So why I'm teaching all those things, because you should want to understand what the latest trend and what's going to be in industry. Okay. So if any opportunity come to us, even internally we are completing one project, we are switching to the another project. If I have something, these details in my profile, then only able to get the project within the organization. Otherwise, that's going to be very challenging for me to survey in the industry. Okay, you cannot go with like the olden, the classical applications like what is that? Your mainframe, or else it's going to be like the old other. I'm not blaming that mainframe. Just I'm telling. Okay, so if I have my profile just mainframe means no chance. Believe me, actually, one of my data science in my project is a mainframe resource. Long back, very long back, is a mainframe resource. Then he got transition into business intelligence and is transition into the data science. He's one of the data science engineer, data scientist in my project. Okay, let's start with here. Okay, so here, as I mentioned here, earlier we used to say this is a table, but now data frame, or else we used to say data set. Okay. So in data science perspective, we are going to call out this one as a the data frame or data set. The individual column is going to be a CDS. Okay, that's very important. And here we have a clear picture representation of the simple understanding of data set or data frame. The columns, name of the columns, and these are the rows, and individual things are data. Hope you guys are know what exactly this is. The understanding of simple understanding of the data frame, whatever it is, and you can say this is the index. We have another slide, so it will talk about more detail about in terms of in terms of data science. In terms of data science, so how we are going to deal individual column here. Okay, right. And if you see, like just I'm giving a heads up. So quickly I can say this is a category variable, and I can say this is a continuous variable. It's a continuous variable, and I'm not going to use this one for my analysis. And this is also I can say as a category variable, and this is also going to be a continuous variable. So straight away I can figuring out, because based on my experience I'm telling okay, these are the column going to be a continuous category. So based on that I started doing my analysis. Okay, so very shortly, like you guys, you're going to have the same kind of the knowledge. Let's see how it is going. Okay, is there any doubts until here?
No, sir.
Cool. Okay, so and here we have some few um, methods. Okay, for example, just try to remember head, tile, access, values. Okay, very simple. Head means this one. In this table, this is a tile. Okay, if I say head of 2 means I will get these 2 rows. Okay, if I say tile means I will get this 2 row. Okay, so this is nothing but this one, and value is nothing but, for example, data frame dot uh, 1 minute, data frame of name dot value is equal to something name event. Okay, so that I will get only this guy name. Okay, so I should be like Turner. That just I mean mentioning here. I couldn't write this one. So this is nothing but value. To extract the value of the individual column, you have to specify the column name dot value means you can get that value. So or else if you can, if you want to print the value of this one means you can directly use df dot, sorry, df of the column name dot value means you can extract these values. We have a sample. Don't worry about that. Okay, I'll show. We'll see all those things. And access is going to be like this is the access one. All right, right. So here, this is very important, guys. Okay, so I'm not sure how many of you noting down the notes. Okay, then I'm sharing the slides with you guys as well. Don't worry. But as we discussed so far, this is a column name, and in a data science terminology, this is a missing value and this is a data. You have to be very clear about that. The NA not null, okay, and sometimes it's a blank data. Junk data means it's going to be a is a null missing value. So in data science terminology, in normally if you're teaching with you're learning something like a database like of your SQL Server or Oracle or any other database. So this is a simple table with a column and row. But if you're dealing with the data science, what is the data science? Data science is nothing but to understand the insight of the data. So insight means each and everything we are going to discuss what exactly. That's very important. Okay, right. And then so you are going to discuss some more about um, few things. If you want to access the values from the column wise, then you have to specify the access is equal to 1. Okay, and if you want deal with your row wise means you have to specify access 0. Okay, so the access 0 represent, probably you might not blinking, don't worry. So when we are doing the code, you understood what exactly the access. What this is talks about row, and this is going to talks about columns. This is very important. Okay, and these are the data. Any doubts? Oh my God, show me again. So before this, better go into the some demo. It's get bored, right? We go to the some basic operations.